Okay, I'm here with Samarie Walker, one of UConn's Five Freshmen. Samarie, remind us where you went to high school.
Samarie Walker High School.
Which is where?
Dayton, Ohio.
And what kind of numbers did you put up, say, in your senior year?
My average is 16.5 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, couple steals.
And what position did you play in high school, or did that change?
Honestly, I played all five, primarily the 1, 3, and 4. I brought the ball up the court, I shot the ball, scored in the post.
Now, in the post, are you more of a back-to-the-basket kind of post player, or a face-the-basket, or both?
In high school, I was more of a back-to-the-basket because I was more powerful than everybody. Wasn't really taller, but I was a lot powerful. Now I would probably have to be more of a face-up player because of my size. So.
Well, what size? How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
6'1"? Is that with shoes or without? There's always confusion with shoes.
Without, I would say about 6 even.
Okay. And so in high school, you played a lot in the low post. And how would you characterize your jump shot? Do you have a mid-range jump shot? Do you have a three-point shot?
I did more like the first couple of years of high school, but they threw me down in the post, and I didn't work on that as much. I worked more on post stuff. So when they asked me to come out, I wouldn't say my shot was consistent, but I hit it when I needed to.
Did you play club ball in addition to high school ball?
Yeah, I started out with Dayton Surge and ended with Sports City U, ran by Tom Jenkins, who's he's very big in Ohio.
At what point in your career did you sense the interest from UConn?
I always wanted to go here since the 4th grade, but they started recruiting me the end of my sophomore year.
And what about, so that's fairly early. I mean, so you did something during your freshman and sophomore years that attracted the interest.
Exactly.
What do you think that was?
I know going into my junior year, I was ranked #1 in the nation, but I had a really good summer that year, so I think that's what it was.
And fans are interested in how the recruiting process works. When you got your offer from UConn, how is that actually communicated? Does that come in person or through your coach or by email, or how does it work?
My coaches told me they were interested, my high school coach, my AAU coach. I made a couple of phone calls to them, and they told me that they were interested. They didn't offer until I got here, and that's when I committed as soon as I came up here on a visit.
And so you committed on a visit. When was that? During your junior year or your senior?
Junior year.
And what other schools were competing in your mind at that point in time for your services?
Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, Rutgers. Honestly, pretty much everybody, but those are my top 5 schools.
I think you probably answered this question already, but so why UConn? Oh, I mean, those are all good schools. Why UConn?
Like I said, I've always wanted to go here since since I was in 4th grade. I met Tamika Williams at a park playing basketball one time, and I didn't know who she was. My dad told me to introduce myself and stuff, and I was like, why? I'm 9 years old, so I'm like, why am I introducing myself to somebody I don't know? And she told me she was going to Chaminade Juilliard, she just graduated, and she was coming here for college, and I started watching Chaminade play, I started watching UConn play, and that's how I ended up going to CJ and wanting to come here.
So you actually met Tamika Williams when you were 9 years old.
Exactly.
And you must have kind of just followed her career right through Chaminade Juilliard, where she was a big star, right?
Exactly.
And here, where she was a big star, of course. Do you feel, either you personally or do you think the freshmen collectively feel some extra pressure coming to UConn? I mean, you got this 78-game winning streak. Is that a big pressure thing, or is that just sort of history that really doesn't affect you that much?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both. Of course, it's always going to be in the back of our minds, like, don't lose because we're undefeated, or don't lose because we want to win another national championship. But we don't really talk about it that much. We're just talking about getting better, working hard in practice, and lifting and all of that so that we can continue the streak and win another championship.
Let me ask you about lifting. When I was in high school, which was a long time ago, basketball players never lifted weights. Did you lift weights? Did your high school teammates lift weights in high school?
Yeah, my dad tried to get me to lift when I was in 7th grade, and I hated it. And it was mandatory in high school, so that's kind of what got me started.
Mandatory. Well, I mean, what do the coaches claim lifting does for a basketball player?
I think it's more stronger and powerful, but like I never really saw it until one time I knocked somebody down on the court in the post. So I was like, I kind of like lifting now. But other than that, like I don't hate it. It's just like it's kind of hard.
Are they pretty serious here about
Yeah.
weight training and
More
lifting and all
than
that?
serious. Way more than serious. It's more than mandatory too. It's no words for that.
Do you have a nickname?
Most people call me Sam. Well, all of them do. But Bria and somebody else calls me Mari. But I think they're gonna go with Sam.
Sam. Just S-A-M.
Exactly.
Mari would be the last two syllables of your first name.
Exactly.
Okay. We may have discussed this, but position-wise, you're sort of preparing yourself to play which positions here, or
The 4, hopefully not the 5, because I'm not really undersized to play a 4, but just being down in the post period, I'm going to be going up against girls who are 2, 3, 4 inches taller than me, sometimes more probably, but like I still work on jump shots and I still work on my ball handling just in case I have to step out or if they ever need somebody to come help them to guard. So.
Have you guys started practice yet?
No, we start this weekend.
This weekend. So you really haven't been in a practice yet with Coach Oriema.
Exactly. I've watched, but I've never actually been in one.
Are you aware that the manufacturing side of UConn will be different than the marketing side that you've been exposed to?
I've heard, and I kind of figured that. I mean, he was like, even during my recruiting process, he was very blunt and like, if you want to come here, come here. If you don't, then don't. I was like, okay, well, I'm sure it's how he's going to be all the time, but I've heard he's even worse than that, so.
Do the upperclassmen give you any hints on how to handle it when he starts getting tough guy or whatever it appears? I'm on TV.
Yeah.
Looks like he can get pretty.
Exactly.
He can get pretty emotional at times with his players.
They just said, listen to what he's saying, not the tone of his voice, and make sure that when he tells you to do something, ask you to do something, that you do it instead of like having him repeat himself 2 or 3 times. Otherwise, you'll get kicked out. They said just be mentally tough, and what he's telling you will get you mentally tough. So.
Okay, Samarie, I'd like to thank you for your time and good luck in the season.
Thank you.